shit about to get copyrighted. Song's so good though. Bad. Yeah. Yeah. The song's so good. Whew. We are doing this shit again. Oh, damn. I'm nervous that I don't look good. The less you can see me, the better. Sorry, but that's just how I feel because it's awkward being. Ooh, whoa. Yeah, whatever. So, as long as we're rolling, you know what I'm saying? As long as it's rolling, we're rolling. So, we good. Is that fucking fine? I don't know, dude. This is like, I honestly am starting to think that my eyes are going because I'm like trying to look at the fucking thing and I'm like, is that actually where it's supposed to be, dude? It's a work in process. Fucking sit down, get comfortable. Let's fucking go, baby. So, I was saying in my last video, my first ever fucking awkward little thing, that I need to kind of get familiar with all this shit and I need to figure out how I'm gonna talk about stuff, right? You know, you have all these thoughts and then when you're sitting down, you're like, it's almost like when you have a pen and paper and you're like, I'm gonna write a book. And you're like, what the fuck? I have zero things. What do I do? So, same thing. And we're trying. So, I said, to kind of start this off, I'll do a little Q&A of my road trip days. So, I think it will spark as I go. You know, got a little basis. And I think I got some interesting shit, right? But I don't want to just, so this is what I did, because that's fucking boring, right? So, and it might be boring. I might get there and then I'll be like, oh God, as I'm editing. I said I wasn't going to do it and I did it. But, you know, that's why we're trying this shit. But, let's see. I gotta get familiar with fucking remembering to breathe and taking my time with this shit. I feel like a dog who just went around the fucking yard chasing a ball. Jesus. Excuse me. So I'm still learning how to talk. So not to bore everyone with this story, because, you know, everyone travels. What the fuck? Who the fuck am I? But it was cool, okay? Damn it, this is harder than I thought. For the longest, I could remember high school days. Life was just crazy at home. I just always wanted to have that freedom. I always thought, hey, I just worked 12 hours straight. I could drive 12 hours straight and be in a totally different state, see so much shit. So put those two things together, you just keep doing it. And I saved money and I basically said, these are the places I want to go. This is my gist of how much I want to spend, what I want to do, the activities and such. And, you know, I planned for the worst. I had a backup savings and made sure the car was good, did the whole smart shit, but pretty much had no plan. Just said, these are the places I want to go. I bought the annual national park pass because I knew that was a big thing. We had our bikes on the back, blah, blah, blah. That shit got rusty as fuck. So, you know, I got to see like places that I liked and places that I wouldn't really care to go back to. And I camped the entire time. Out of the 60 days that I was on the road, I got a hotel. I think it was 3 nights, and we stayed with friends, a total of maybe 5 nights. So it was sick. And we did tent camping. Never in the car, just because I had a little Subaru and we had it packed with shit and there's just no point to sleep in the car. It was beautiful out every single night. So, I would say there was like only a couple like really scary moments where, one time I think it was in Tennessee and, or maybe it was Texas. And, cause we followed an app that's freecampsites.net, I think it is. And you can kind of, it looks like a GPS, and you could zoom in to where you are and then just like find. You could read the reviews. Definitely recommend reading the reviews, because some people will say like, don't go here, this is like fucking garbage everywhere, or there's no service, or just be careful, stuff like that. But you just gotta take the risk. And so we would go to all these campsites, and 9 times out of 10 we would lose internet. So you gotta kind of like make sure you read the directions. It was cool as fuck. Like, I felt like I was living a different life while I was on the road. It is a different life when you're living that, going from place to place, living life from when the sun comes up to when the sun comes down. You know, you don't give a fuck about what someone's doing. Like, I hardly was on my phone. It was just seriously living in the moment and not knowing what's to come. So you would see something and you would say like, oh, I want to go over there. I want to check that out. And then something else would come up and you'd be like, actually, the weather is bad here. Let's go south. Like, it was so sick. So sick. Such a cool way to live life. But, I mean, there's reasons why I thought I would buy a van and like do that for a long time. But there's reasons why I don't want to do that. And I can go into that. But back to what I was saying is, there was a couple sketchy moments where we were in wherever we were, Texas or Tennessee. And yeah, I was in the tent, and I forget where my ex was, but there was just like some guy lingering all night. We were like the only ones there, and there was like no car. He was just walking around, and we both were like, what the fuck? And then he came up to our tent and was kind of just like, what are you guys doing? And we were just kind of like, bro, I will fucking cut you the fuck out of here. So like, yeah, we didn't sleep. We pretty much packed up and got out of there. But even though it was like 3 a.m, which sucked, you know, and then you drive like 10 hours, because it's one of those things where we were going to do our drive in the morning, but you know, shit happens. So that's one of the things you learn on the road, is just, you have to go with the flow. You know, you might be tired and not want to go, but it's not worth it if you're getting these bad vibes. And or there was another moment where it fucking downpoured and our shit was getting soaked, like filling up the tent. And I was just like, we could either fucking deal with this and just be drenched or pack it up. So, you know, you pack it up, you go. There was so many interesting learning curves and things where you just got to say, like, laugh about it, you know? Another one was, actually, this is one of the things that ended the trip, which was unfortunate. I mean, we were planning on coming back. I had, you know, to get back to work and shit, but family's like, are you just taking like a 4-month vacation or what's going on? But glad I did it then, because there's like, you know, in life, when you feel like you could do it then, do it, because things get more demanding and it's less likely for you to go and take a chunk amount of time if you have this career or relationship or family that needs your attention. So I'm so thankful I did it then, because in today's day, I just don't see it happening for a while. A couple weeks I could do, but the 2-month thing, I just don't think that would happen. But what ended the trip was, it was actually really fucking awesome, because, well, the night was awesome, but what happened wasn't awesome. So, okay, so I'll explain the first thing, and then the fun thing comes after. So we were in Portland. This is like us going all the way around. We actually took us a whole month to get to the West Coast, because we went south first. So we went down to Texas, Big Bend, and then we cut through all the middle states, Colorado, went up to Montana, cut over, went to Washington, and then came back, and then came down. So we're in Portland, and of course it's fucking Portland. Fuck Portland, dude. And we're in a residential area because we were staying with someone that we knew, and parked right out front the house. And of course, out of every place so far that we've been, this is where it happens. A fucking crackhead tries to break into the car, and he failed. Thankfully, he didn't break a window, which is amazing, but he broke the handle, so you can open the driver's side. So you would have to jump through we would jump through the window to get into the car, unless you would go around and then cross over. But it just got to the point where it was nice out, we'd just leave the window down, jump through the window. So this happened. So the rest of the second month was us jumping through the window. So one night, I forget where we were, but we were freaking wasty pants. We went out and we got drunk somewhere, and we had such a fun night. And we're at our campsite, and it's like on top of this mountain, and he jumps in, puts his wallet on top of the car, because I guess it just was like in his hand or something. I don't remember, but since we went out the night before, it had my license, his license, my credit card, and all my shit in his wallet. Puts it on top of the roof. That thing, I gun it, flies off fucking down the mountain, gone. We didn't realize, though. But either way, when we went back, it was gone. So, funny story is, it was a nightmare because now we have only his card, and I had to transfer my money to him. Oh, it was my card that we had. He had to transfer everything to me. I go to the fucking gas station. We're on E. And I put it in, and it fucking says that it marks it as fraud. So they lock my bank account. There's not one Valley National on the West Coast. There's the East Coast bank. So I'm calling them like, dude, we're at a gas station. I need you to unlock my card. They're not doing it. It's this whole thing. It was terrible. Finally get it. And also, we didn't have licenses. So for the whole trip, we didn't have licenses. So, but everywhere we went, we didn't have licenses. So we would go into a gas station, try to buy alcohol, and they'd be like, sorry, we're not selling it to you. You don't have a license. We're like, God damn it. Go to the next one. God damn it. Try to buy like Juul pods, because at the time we were Juuling. It was like, God damn it, dude. This fucking sucks. We'd be in Vegas, try to go in somewhere, be like, you need your car. We're like, God damn it. So, it kind of like changed the vibe, but we didn't go out a lot. Like, we weren't big like partiers or like going to the bars. Like, we saved so much money because we never did that. But when we wanted to, like, for a special occasion or like a cool city, we were just like, yeah, let's fucking go get a drink. And they're just like, nah, you don't have a license. We're like, God damn it, dude. So fast forward 2 years later, somebody in Oregon found the wallet, found the licenses, and been using my ex's license and got arrested a bunch of times. And a warrant went to his house and was like all this shit. Like, you have all these fines, like all this stuff. And I was like, that is so funny. Like, to this day, still was doing that shit. I'm like, how the fuck? That's such an Oregon thing. They didn't fucking look at the picture. So that happened. That was a crazy experience. A crazy moment of like, we are fucked right now in the middle of nowhere. We have no money. But we laughed about it. We had a moment of fuck, but we figured it out at the end. What we would eat on the road was actually how we saved so much money, because we had a stove, little propane stove. We would make anything that came in a can, corned beef, like beans, corn, anything that came in a can. Can't really think right now. We make like instant potatoes. We would like, we didn't have a cooler. We didn't want a cooler, so we pretty much did all like dry foods, granola bars, oatmeal every fucking morning. And if we wanted to splurge, we'd buy like a steak like that day and then cook it like right away. Same with eggs. But yeah, we cooked every single meal. And on this whole trip, it was 60 days, and we spent Like I spent personally, it was like $2,000 and like $800, and he spent around like 3,000. So for two people, 2 months, it was fucking cheap. That's gas, that's place to stay, all the national parks, everything, food, everything. The hotels that we only did like 3, but that was fucking awesome. And that was because we cooked all our food. We camped for free. We only paid for, I think, 4 or 5 campsites. And that was because we wanted to be in the national park and wanted to splurge. So that was really fucking awesome. Where we bathed and stuff was pretty much in water. So we would see like a little river. And we had like the whole like soap that's, I think, what do they call it? Maybe like biodegradable. The soap that's just like not bad for the environment. A little soap bar and shampoo and shit, and would just do that in like a little tube. I'd sit in a little tube and I'd wash my hair. And then we had like gallons of water, so we would wash our face every morning and brush our teeth. And I loved it. And swam pretty much every day. So it was one of those things where, like, if I'm swimming all day in natural water, I'm not going to even need to. So, yeah, we did that. And then we had we had like a Crunch membership. So we would do the whole find a Crunch and go to the gym and take a shower in the cities and go to laundromats to wash our clothes. So it was fucking awesome. That was such a sick experience. So many people would be like, what the fuck? But, dude, that shit was awesome. One thing that was funny was we were in Colorado, Boulder, and there's a river that goes, and we got tubes, and we had our bicycles, so we put the tubes, we wore the tubes, rode our bikes up the river, locked our bikes, got in the river, went down the river on our tubes, and then walked back up and got our bikes. Fucking awesome. But it was crazy because the river, everyone has these heavy duty tubes, right? I get a fucking $1 tube from Walmart, and we go in and it's this crazy like drop and freezing cold water, and the second drop, I did a fucking 360 underwater, like straight back. Thank God it was a large, like a deep spot, because the way I flipped back, if there was a rock there, I would have fucking knocked out. Lost my glasses, lost my hat, lost my tube. So yeah, it was crazy. Another cool thing was I went to the Great Salt Lake, and you actually can fucking float in it, but it makes you fucking really sticky. And definitely recommend pouring fresh water on you afterwards. My hair was like stuck, like hard straw. Bathing suit was like so hard. But I'm a big floater when I get in water. So like, you know how you like suck everything in and you kind of lay back? You didn't even have to do that. You're just automatically, or just like you're sitting normal and you're like, choo. It's crazy. It was so cool. My favorite national parks, I would say, would be Glacier, Zion, Olympic, Grand Tetons. Yeah, I would say those are my favorite. So sick. I mean, Big Bend was even pretty cool, but it was one of those where it was so fucking hot, but you could see the stars like no other, because there's like a dark zone, but it was so fucking hot that it was like, okay, nothing to do. Like, I'm gonna like stay back, because yeah, it was like the only one that was like hard to like explore. I totally want to go back to Zion though, because when I was there, they had like I forget what it was. It was like some type of storm that was coming. So that Angel's Landing, where you see videos of the like crazy, like narrow, high up walk with the ropes. Yeah, we couldn't do that because it was windy. I think it was windy. I think that's what it was. It was like some craziness that we couldn't do that. A couple things that happened to the car was we obviously had to get oil changes. And then we were driving on a lot of back roads. And I had a Subaru Outback, but I didn't have like the big tires or anything. And I'm telling you, crazy road pothole type shit. So I broke both axles. So we actually had to get that done. All 4 spark plugs went. And that was crazy. And it was like perfect timing. There was a fucking AutoZone. I don't know how life works, but it works. And we were right next to an AutoZone. And we had to pull over because I was getting gas. And I'm like, this doesn't look right, you know? Like, this doesn't sound right. And I opened the hood and the engine is like this. It's moving crazy. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then we pull right in and he's like, yeah, you need spark plugs. And I don't remember what else it was. And he's like, I could do it for you. And it was perfect. And people are just so nice, especially when you're like, yeah, we're on this crazy expedition. We're just chilling. And they're just like, I got you. And we're like, hell yeah. That's like the best part about a road trip. Like the people you meet, the things you see, the realizations that you have, that feeling that you get of freedom and just kind of like going with the flow. And every day is different. Every moment is different. You know, you're not looking in mirrors. You're not looking on the phone. You aren't even concerned about you. You're projecting out into the world. You're outward. Everything is outward. You're taking everything in. You're not, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but I remember when I got back from not putting on makeup, from not putting on makeup, from not looking at myself like you would every day if you were to get ready for work and shit, not taking pictures like selfies and stuff. I seriously looked when I got home. I was like, what? That's what I look like? Like, I remember I had like a realization of like, oh shit, like this is crazy. And I also lost 15 pounds because I was just walking every day, hiking every day, riding my bike every day. Pretty much eating, you know, definitely less calories than I do, but also just like high protein shit because we had to, like just protein bars, protein shakes. I was in the sun. Like I just felt like a new person for a long time when I got back. Like that was sick. We would just like take naps anywhere, like set up the hammock and just take a nap. We never really did more than 4 hours of driving a day unless it was like the beginning and we were like, there's nothing from Ohio to Texas, you know? Like, we pretty much just shot through certain states, but that fucking, like, it was fucking sick. It was so, like, go with it. Just go with it. You want to stop? Sure, let's stop. And it all depends on who you're with. Most life-changing shit ever. Goals. Like, literally accomplished my bucket list goal of doing that. And I'm so thankful. And then 2019, which was a year later, I did this one where I shot through 36 hours down there. And I was with my friend Julia, and we met these really cool girls. We went to this one campsite that we camped for free, and it was awesome. It's literally my favorite. It's Lake Apache in Arizona. It's crazy. Like, getting there is the craziest shit. There's like it's like this crazy road. People who have their boats, they bring their boats down there and their jet skis, and there's no houses. It's just a campsite, and fucking, you could stay in a hotel if you wanted, which I didn't realize that was even there. Like, you don't see it, or we didn't see it where we were camping. But people we met were like, yeah, we're staying over there. Like, but these campsites are way better. We're like, yeah, dude, if you're going to be here, like, get the fuck outside, dude. Come on. So we had a campsite, and we set it up, just me and my friend. And I took mushrooms, right? I took a whole eighth of mushrooms. And it's like daytime. And I'm sitting in the hammock. And then I'm starting to feel it. And this random girl comes down. She's like, hey, can we set up next to you guys? And they're like the same age as us. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, kind of like, what? And like my friend tells her, she's like, she just took a bunch of mushrooms. But like, we don't care. So she sets up with this other girl who's we're literally all the same age. It was fucking awesome because if that was any other person, it would have fucked everything up. We would be like, oh my God, we have to leave. These people are weird. You know what I'm saying? So it was just beautiful. I actually became really good friends with them. Went back a year later and stayed with them at their house. So life just works in weird ways. So we had such a fun night. But there was like one moment where in Arizona, you can't fucking have fires. And we didn't think about this. I mean, I was the one tripping. These people are sober. They should have said something, but nobody said anything. But we set off a fucking lantern into the sky and then realized it's a no fire. So we go running to get it. It's like in the trees. And like, thank God we fucking shot that shit down with a fucking rock and stick. And we got it down and we put the fire out. And like, could have been way worse. So that was like a fucking intense thing. I'm just laughing my ass off tripping on mushrooms. I've never took a whole eighth of mushrooms. And that was fucking insane. I saw fucking Indians. Like, I saw... The sky had the most stars I've ever seen. Everything was insane. It was the most beautiful experience. I would never laugh that hard, like where you laugh and there's like fucking boogers coming out of your fucking nose and eyes. Like, it was so sick. So we meet these girls, have a great time, go on a jet ski, meet this guy with his dog. And the funny thing about that was a year later, we come back to this campsite with the same girls. We all met up to do it again the same week, a year later. And this time there's like a landslide. So like the entrance is closed. So we have to go around. It's like another fucking 2 hours around the other side to get down. And they're like, because of this, you know, you can't come down here unless you know someone or like own the property or like have like a membership. Fucking put your boat in or some shit. And we were like, oh my God, dude, like we're from Jersey. Like we planned this, like, you know. And he's like, I'm sorry. Like, do you know anyone? And we go, yeah, we know a guy who has a pug on his fucking mic. He has a pug and he puts his pug on the fucking jet ski. Like, we know that guy. Like, he's our friend. And we're like, yeah, his name's, you know, and we're like, fuck. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, so-and-so. Yeah, come on down. Like, I'll tell him, like, I'll get him for you. And we were like, I don't know if he just fucking, like, doesn't give a fuck. But, like, that worked. So that's actually how we got to go back. So that was sick. And, yeah, that time we go and stay with my friend the next day at her house in Arizona, this girl that we met. And we go on a hike. And I tell my friend, yo, you really shouldn't wear fucking sandals because we're going hiking. And guess what? She wears the fucking sandals. And this bitch trips on a rock, busts her knee open like a cut like this big. I see the inside of her knee. And I take my shirt off and we're far as fuck from society. And it's hot as balls. And we have, you know, a dog with us. Like, we're young. Like, we're like a bunch of little girls. I didn't mean to say young, but we're a bunch of little girls. And I'm thinking, how the fuck am I going to carry her? So I take my shirt off, wrap it around her knee, because I know we have to go to the hospital. I just was like, oh my God. So I wrap it up. She's crying hysterically. Try to get her on my shoulder, you know, the whole nine. And I'm like, dude, I'm dying right now. Like, all I wanted to do was get to the bottom of this hike to go in the water. It was so ridiculously hot. And we were so close. And now we have to do a whole, like, 2-hour hike back with her screaming and crying and her leg bleeding. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. But it was fucking crazy. So we're going up the hill and this guy's like, oh my God, are you guys okay? Like, I'm a firefighter. Like, I'll run her up. Like, get the keys to the car. Like, blah, blah, blah. So we're like, oh my God, thank you so much. He helps us. We put her in the car. We go to the hospital. And it was COVID. So they're like, you guys can't come in. And I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, oh my God. So she gets stitched up. That was just crazy. And we pretty much chilled at the house for the rest of the trip. But it was sick. And it all worked out. You know, like, shit happens. And then another trip where me, my friend Rose, and Julia, I talked about this on a video, my scariest road trip experience. This was the last road trip, and I mean, I would do another road trip, but I'm kind of in that state right now where I prefer flying, staying somewhere and exploring that general area, still get a car, like still drive around. But basically what happened was, so it was a dust storm, but I've never fucking been in the Midwest with this. So it was literally a dust storm. Craziest experience ever. And we're on Route 80, but in Wyoming. A truck was empty and fell over. And then another truck must have hit that truck. So there was 2 tractor trailers that fell over. Nobody put a flare up. There was nothing to see. I see parts of cars on the ground, like literally saw parts, like front ends and shit on the ground. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. So I'm slowing down and both my friends are edibled out, like sleeping. And I'm like, wake up. I explained the whole story because it's like not even just the fact that we crashed, but the fact of like what happened afterwards in the video, because the guy was a fucking creep pedophile and in jail now. But point is there was all this shit on the road and I'm going slow, thankfully, but I still hit it. So it was like these huge poles that would go like literally like, so we hit it and I go, guys, if you can move, get the fuck out of the car. So I told everyone to get the fuck out because I couldn't see anything. So I know the cars behind me can't see shit either. So these cars hit our car as we're running across the highway. It was like bam, bam, bam. And I look back and you can't see anything because of the dust. So I couldn't even see the car, couldn't see anything, but I heard bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, oh my God, our car's fucked. Thank God we got out. What are we going to do? So we are hiding behind this fucking huge pole on the side of the road until an RV pulls over and was like, get in, call the cops. My friend has like, her foot is fucked up. She got to go to the hospital. And it was just crazy. I kind of went into more of it. I don't know. The whole thing is they wouldn't let us in the fucking, they wouldn't let us in the fucking back of the ambulance. They wanted to split us all up. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? But you think these people are there to help you. And they tried to give my friend fentanyl and tried to feel her up. So, and the whole thing was they didn't even make it to the hospital. We made it to the hospital, which was like 2 hours away from the accident. The whole thing was crazy, but it turned out it was like 5 cars that hit our car and then the 2 tractor trailers. It was a fucking nasty accident. And if we didn't get out of the car, I don't even know what happened. But it was a fucking shit show, dude. That shit was crazy. We had to buy flight tickets to come home. Well, the whole story was wild. But, yeah, crazy shit could happen on the road. So, kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. But I also felt like I was doing too much. Like, I was doing a road trip, like, every 3 months. And I was like, okay, like, this shit's kind of getting crazy. Maybe God is telling me to chill the fuck out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it like puts you out in like more vulnerable. Your probability of getting in an accident is crazy when you're on the road that much. So, but overall, like all my road trip experiences were great. Even that one brought us really close together, made us realize like a lot of shit about life and just like, what the fuck. It also brings a lot of insight. You kind of like learn a lot about yourself and you get to know yourself better, and you're put in these situations where you have to think for yourself and challenges you to have patience, because it's a lot of that when you're on the road and you're like, this is so frustrating, like why can't this just fucking be easy? And you're like, okay, well, I'm also fucking on this crazy adventure, so I need to kind of, shit's not always gonna work out. But just cool to experience these things. It was very eye-opening and life-changing. So I'm really happy that I did that when I could. So I encourage everyone to go do it and pick a place that you want to see. Like I still have some national parks that I haven't gone to yet. And there's so much. Like you need like a fucking week in one national park. So, I would do like 2 days. Sometimes I did 3, sometimes I did 1, but you could always go back. But it was just really cool. Like going from Arizona to Washington was like 2 totally different things. One's green and got all these crazy mountains, and then the other one's like desert but got all these crazy like canyons and shit. So it's just really cool to see things. I'm really glad I did that. But now I'm ready to go to other countries. So that's pretty much what's up when it came to road trip lifestyle stuff. That shit was a good time and a blast. For listening, I don't know if this was boring, but it's one of those things where I'm always like, it'd be cool to share, but then when I'm sharing it, I'm like, does anyone really give a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I guess I didn't really talk about this real quick. Why I wouldn't live in a van and do the whole van life is because people don't realize there's so much of a raw side of that. Like, you're living in a small space. You're constantly figuring out where you can park it. There's no guarantee of much anything. So you're constantly like, there's no like security of, oh, I definitely will have a place to park this thing. Like, somebody could come knocking on it. You know what I'm saying? Someone knows you're in there. It's very dangerous. There's just so much to it that people, like, they on Instagram and stuff, they make it like this glamorous thing. There's so much to road tripping that most people would not be able to handle. I know that I can do it. I'm just saying, with more money and the things that I'm doing now, I don't want to. You know, I'd rather have the expense to go and do it as a trip rather than live that grime life. Like, no, I kind of want to, no offense, you know, it's not like all grime. I'm just saying, like, I'd rather have my home base and then go out for a couple months, live that life, and then come back. That's all I'm saying. It's just to do it 365 forever or however long and put all my money into this as my home. It's not for me. It's crazy when you don't know where you're going to stay and you don't know who's around and you don't know if you're going to have service and you don't know where you're going to shower. It's a lot for me to take in. Like, I want to know all these things when I wake up and when I go to sleep. I don't want to have to think about it. So that's why I wouldn't do that. But in the time, I was very like, I want a van. And then once I got back from my road trip, I was like, road tripping is dope, but it's one of those things where I'm good after I get it out. Like, I would totally do a month or a season or something on the road, but I need my space. I need to feel like, yeah. The other thing was, I had a camera and I was gonna do the whole like vlog and like take videos and like talk about my experiences. But as I was doing the road trip, I was so like, I'm never been to these places and I'm having such a good time that I don't want to take my camera out. I don't care to show anyone what I'm experiencing. Like, I had the mindset after a little bit of like, I don't give a fuck about showing anybody anything. Like, it's almost like when you go to a concert nowadays, I don't really take my phone out because I'm like, first of all, you can find this shit online. Same thing with traveling places. You could find better videos, better shit from the professionals online. Like, well, who am I? You know? But I just was kind of like, I don't give a fuck. If you want to experience this, you go experience this. So I stopped that. Side of me wishes I kind of at least did like a 1 or 2 like check-in, because there's so many moments that now I don't remember. Like, even right now, trying to explain like all of the experiences, like answering some of these things and trying to spark my mind through pictures. It was so long ago that like I really don't remember every little thing, versus if you have like a video or something talking about like, so and so just told me this and I was in a gas station and this funny moment just happened. Like, I don't really remember all of that anymore. So like in that sense, like I kind of wish I did like a maybe 2 a day or like once a week like check-in of like how it went. So like I'm going to be more mindful of that like when I go out do like other trips. But vlogging every single thing or taking videos every single thing, you are not enjoying it because you're constantly worrying about like getting the perfect angle and like, I don't know, and I just remember being like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's how in the moment and how freeing and fucking amazing mentally and like where I was mentally was the best. And I'm not even lying. I don't even have to convince anybody because I know that shit was so liberating. I was so free. So I didn't give a fuck about anything. My motto of the trip was never gonna see anyone again. Like, I'm gonna jump in this shit naked. Never gonna see anyone again. Like, I'm gonna cook my meal on the side of the road. Never gonna see anyone again. Like, I'm gonna put my tent up and fucking blast my music because I'm in the middle of fucking Montana. Like, everything was do whatever the fuck you want. Like, it was so sick. So, I don't know, just a little thing, because I thought that I would take a lot more videos, and then I got to that moment and I was like, nah. Like, I'm enjoying this for me. And, yeah, like I said, nowadays, I probably, when I go on trips and stuff, like, I do want to share things and remember things and talk about things, but at the same time, like, there's a fair line of doing it too much, and anyone who creates stuff, they understand. Like, it's a full-time thing if you're creating and then editing and all this stuff. Like, I remember sitting in a McDonald's and I was like telling my ex, I was like, I'm gonna like edit the video that like I took from the last fucking national park, and then I sat there and I was like, hell no, dude, let's go fucking on the road. Like, I'm not sitting here for 3 hours. We could be fucking getting shit, more experience. And like, something just clicked and I was like, I don't really give a fuck enough. Like, I don't care. And yeah, that's just one thing. But yeah, this is it. That's all I got. I think I talked a lot of shit, like way too much shit. So sorry if this was fucking boring, but yeah. See you later. Oh wait, hold on. We got to do the see ya.